For fans who are already nervous about what the 2026 WNBA season might look like, the latest news is exactly what they did not want to hear. At a time when the league is locked in sensitive CBA negotiations and trying to secure its future, one of its brightest stars, Kelsey Mitchell of the Indiana Fever, appears to be on the verge of making a move that could shake the foundation of women's basketball in the United States. This all connects directly to a new rival league, known for now as Project B. It is positioning itself as a serious competitor to the WNBA, not just an off-season option or overseas alternative. The timing could not be more explosive. While the WNBA and the Players Union are trying to hammer out a new collective bargaining agreement that will define salaries, prioritization rules, and league structure heading into 2026, Project B is quietly, and sometimes not so quietly, trying to sign away top-tier WNBA talent. We already saw the first major shock when Nneka Ogwumike, the president of the WNBPA and one of the most respected veterans in the game, signed with Project B right in the middle of these CBA talks. That decision created an immediate and obvious conflict of interest. As union president, she is supposed to help negotiate the best possible deal between the players and the WNBA. At the same time, she is now under contract with a direct competitor that benefits if the WNBA looks unstable or weak. That move alone sent a jolt through the league, and it signaled that this new project is not some fringe idea. It is serious, and it has money to spend. Now it looks like Kelsey Mitchell may be next in line. What started as whispers has turned into something much harder to ignore. If you look at Project B's official social media accounts, especially on X, formerly Twitter, you get a glimpse into their recruitment strategy. They are only following a very small number of people. On that short list are players we already know have signed, like Nneka Ogwumike and Alyssa Thomas. But alongside them, you also see some of the biggest names in the WNBA. Jonquel Jones, Maureen Johannes, Jewell Loyd, Kamilla Cardoso, and right there among them, Kelsey Mitchell of the Indiana Fever. That is not random. For a brand new women's basketball league to follow just a handful of athletes, and to include Mitchell in that tiny group, is a clear signal. These are the players they are targeting. These are the stars they want to build their product around. And unlike most off-season leagues, Project B is not chasing role players or fringe rotation pieces. They're going after all WNBA talents, former MVPs, number one picks, international stars, and rising young giants like Kamilla Cardoso. Their goal is to assemble a roster that can rival, or even surpass, the top tier of WNBA talent. That is what puts Kelsey Mitchell's potential move at the center of this story. She is not just any guard. She is coming off the best season of her career, with the Indiana Fever. In 2024, with Caitlin Clark sidelined late in the year, Mitchell elevated her game to another level and reminded everyone exactly how dangerous she is. She became the first player in Fever history to average 20 points per game over an entire season. She earned her third WNBA All-Star selection. She was recognized as one of the best guards in the league, with a first-team All-WNBA nod. For a franchise building momentum and eyeing a real shot at contention behind young stars like Clark and bigs like Aaliyah Boston and Kamilla Cardoso, Mitchell was the proven veteran scorer they planned to anchor the offense around. Head coach Stephanie White was extremely open about that vision. She said multiple times that Kelsey Mitchell was the player she wanted to build the franchise around. White publicly identified her as the centerpiece, not just another starter. General Manager Amber Cox backed that up in exit interviews, calling re-signing Mitchell the organization's top priority. Indiana Fever fans heard that and believed they were looking at the core of a future championship contender in the WNBA. Clark, Boston, Cardoso, and Mitchell in the backcourt leading the way. Now, all of that is in serious jeopardy. To understand why Project B is so attractive for someone like Kelsey Mitchell, you have to look at where she is in her career and what this rival league is offering. Mitchell is entering her 9th season in the WNBA. She is no longer on a rookie contract. She is not a young prospect hoping to prove she belongs. She has already paid her dues, produced at a high level, and established herself as one of the league's most dangerous scoring guards. At this stage, maximizing her financial security becomes a major priority. Reports and speculation around Project B suggest that top players could be earning around $2 million per year from that league alone. On top of that, Mitchell is already involved with Unrivaled, the new off-season women's league co-founded by Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier that is expected to pay significant salaries as well. If the WNBA season does happen and she secures a max contract there, she could realistically be looking at 3 strong income streams: a max WNBA deal, Unrivaled money, and a multi-million-dollar salary from Project B. Compared to her current WNBA earnings, which remain modest relative to her talent, that combination is extremely difficult to turn down. From a pure business standpoint, especially in a sport where careers are not guaranteed to be long, her logic is easy to understand. This might be the peak of her market value. After an all-WNBA first-team season, with her scoring numbers and national recognition at an all-time high, this is a moment to cash in. There is no guarantee her stock will ever be this high again. If you are Kelsey Mitchell, you are thinking about long-term stability for yourself and your family, not just the next season. But from the perspective of the Indiana Fever and the WNBA as a whole, the move is devastating. The Fever have historically been supportive of players taking part in off-season opportunities. When Mitchell signed on with Unrivaled, there was an article praising that move, and the team even amplified it on social media. Unrivaled is seen as complimentary, not directly hostile to the WNBA. Project B is different. This is not positioned as a short off-season competition or a way for players to stay sharp while overseas. It is being built as a rival league with a clear goal of grabbing a share of the women's basketball market, sponsors, television rights, and fan attention. It is viewed inside the WNBA as a direct competitor with the potential to divide talent and confuse the landscape for fans, broadcasters, and brands. That is why the league is so strict about prioritization. The rule that requires players to report to WNBA training camp on time and limits participation in other leagues that conflict with the star of the WNBA season. The WNBA does not want its stars spending their best energy or risking injury in competitions that could undercut its own product. With Project B emerging in players like Aguamike, Alyssa Thomas, and potentially Kelsey Mitchell involved, prioritization becomes one of the biggest battlegrounds in the ongoing CBA talks. Layered on top of this, the leadership situation is complicated. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, who has oversight of the WNBA at the ownership level, is reportedly dealing with major off-court issues, including government subpoenas and corporate legal matters. That limits how much attention he can devote to shepherding a new WNBA deal across the finish line. Within the WNBA itself, many players have grown openly frustrated with Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. There are reports and strong indications that a significant portion of the player base would like to see her replaced. That kind of internal tension makes collective bargaining even harder. So while the WNBA and the Players Union have a 30-day window to negotiate key elements of the next CBA, including prioritization, salary cap structure, revenue sharing, and league expansion, Project B is out there talking directly to players and locking in long-term financial commitments. It is essentially a race. Can the WNBA offer a big enough, stable enough, and player-friendly enough deal to keep its stars from walking? Or will a group of its best talents decide that the risk is worth it and jump to a new platform that promises more money right away? For Indiana, the stakes feel even more personal. Stephanie White did not just say Kelsey Mitchell was important. She said she wanted to build around her. Amber Cox echoed that. The Fever are coming off a season where they finally started to see their rebuild turn into wins and national relevance. Between Caitlin Clark's massive popularity, Aaliyah Boston's dominance inside, Camila Cardoso's arrival, and Mitchell's veteran scoring, Indiana Fever news had gone from quiet to constant. They were suddenly one of the most talked about franchises in women's basketball. Losing Mitchell now at the height of her powers would be a crushing blow. It would not just be the departure of a player. It would be the collapse of a carefully constructed vision. A championship-caliber backcourt is hard to find and even harder to keep together. When your coach and general manager publicly state that one player is the heart of that plan, and that player decides to chase a deal with an emerging rival league, it creates a rift that is almost impossible to repair. Officially, the Fever have not fired Kelsey Mitchell or cut ties with her, but if she signs a multi-million-dollar contract with Project B, in direct opposition to the WNBA's own priorities and long-term goals. It is hard to see how she could realistically return to Indiana's locker room as the face of the franchise. The trust would be broken. The public comments would look naive in hindsight. The fans who were promised a core built around her would feel blindsided. And it is not just an Indiana issue. Around the league, other front offices are watching this closely. If Project B successfully pulls Kelsey Mitchell after already landing Aguamike and Alyssa Thomas, what stops them from going after more stars? How many players will look at the combination of unrivaled overseas options and a big Project B contract and decide that dealing with WNBA prioritization rules and a tense CBA environment is no longer worth it? This is the nightmare scenario for everyone who loves the WNBA and wants to see stability and growth heading into 2026. Instead of moving into a new media rights deal and expansion with United Front, the league is facing an internal divide. On one side, your players demanding better pay, more flexibility, and changes in leadership. On the other side, you have the league office trying to protect its schedule, sponsorships, and long-term viability. In the middle, you have rival leagues ready to scoop up whoever feels undervalued or boxed in. Kelsey Mitchell's situation captures that entire conflict in one decision. On paper, leaving for Project B makes sense for her as an individual. She is at her peak. She has massive leverage, and the financial upside is huge. For the Indiana Fever and for fans of WNBA basketball in the United States, though, it is a huge loss at the worst possible time. The question now is not just whether Mitchell will go. It is what her move will trigger. Will other stars follow? Will it harden the WNBA stance in negotiations or force the league to offer more? Will it push owners and sponsors to choose sides between the traditional WNBA structure and a flashier new women's basketball league offering bigger checks? However it plays out, one thing is clear. This is no longer just about one player or one team. It is about the direction of professional women's basketball in America. If you care about the WNBA, the Indiana Fever, or the future of women's sports, this is a story you need to be watching closely. Let me know in the comments where you stand on this. Do you think Kelsey Mitchell should take the Project B money and secure her future? Or should she stay in the WNBA and continue as a cornerstone of the Indiana Fever? Is Project B good for women's basketball because it pushes salaries higher, or is it a real threat to the WNBA stability? If you follow WNBA news, player movement, and everything happening around the CBA and these new rival leagues, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay locked in. There's a lot more coming, and the decisions made over the next few months could define the future of women's basketball in the United States for years to come.